22 years of age. Lennox Allen, 22-0-1, but he is 35 years old. Put in there now to give a test early on against the very talented amateur, David Morrell Jr. Let's go to the ring, and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles. Premier Boxing Champions presents a big night of action coming away. It's Fox PBC Fight Night. And we extend a special welcome to the brave men and women serving around the world and joining us tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network. This bout in the ring, a world championship attraction, is sanctioned by the WBA, the president, Gilberto Jesus Mendoza. Judging at ringside, we have Dr. Lou Moret, Steve Morrow, and Fernando Villarreal. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled in a battle of undefeated southpaws for the interim WBA Super Middleweight World Championship. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing purple trunks with white trim, he is fighting out of Brooklyn, New York by way of Georgetown, Guyana. He weighed in at 166 3/4 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 22 wins, no losses, 1 draw, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the talented, undefeated top contender, introducing Lennox "Too Sharp" Allen. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with multicolored trim. He is fighting out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, by way of Santa Clara, Cuba. He weighed in at a ready 164 1/2 pounds. He also is undefeated in his young campaign in the ring with a record of 2 wins, no losses. Both of those wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former Cuban national champion, tonight in just his 3rd professional bout, introducing the accomplished, undefeated world rank contender, introducing David Morrell Jr. And the referee in charge now to give instructions, Jerry Cantu.
Gentlemen, you are given your instructions in the dressing room. Está recibiendo sus instrucciones en el camerino. Toque de guantes.
Ready to go here in our first fight of the night. Closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast. If you'd like to hear the broadcast in Spanish, you can click over to the simulcast on Fox Deportes. Lennox Allen with the chance of a lifetime, 22-0-1, but again, he is 35. He has fought sporadically over the last 16 years and put in against David Morrell, again, sparkling amateur career in Cuba as an amateur. Joe Goosen, 135-2, man.
Yeah, that's almost impossible to do, you know, but this kid has done it. Now, he's a real prodigy, but tonight he's got a very mature boxer in front of him who's just pulled a little stunt on him right there by leaning on the back of the neck of Morrell. But if Allen can get through these first few rounds and drag Morrell into the deep waters, he may have a shot. But Morrell is really a power puncher.
You see the combination and the speed from David Morrell already. Again, plenty of experience, just not pro experience. Lennox Lewis was an Olympic gold medalist in 1988. Lennox, how ready were you at 2-0 as a pro?
I was really ready, and you know, I just wanted to get in there and prove myself. And you know, for David Morrell, he's a good, sharp puncher and straight puncher, accurate puncher. So, you know, the only thing he has to really worry about is the experience factor. You know, getting in those later rounds and having Lennox lean on him and you know, show his experience factor, because he's got a lot of experience. So that's what we have to watch out for David. And like I said, Lennox has a lot of experience, so I feel he's going to bring him into the deep end and see what he can do with the young guy.
Now you say Lennox. Is that how we should be saying your name, Lennox?
That's how you should be saying my name. For some reason, Americans like to drop off an N and call me Lennox. That's
Lennox. Wow, Joe, we better be better tonight.
It's a whole new phenomenon with this Lennox thing. Lennox has been calling himself Lennox for like 30 years now. All right, I'll go for it, Lennox.
There you go. Just David Morrell Again, you see in the black trunks, Lennox Allen in the purple, and Lennox, again, 22-0-1-1 out of Brooklyn, and just one of these tough guys, been in the gym a long time, gets top sparring, gets a big opportunity here, and this is scheduled for 12 since there is like an interim belt on the line. The WBA champ is Callum Smith. He's also the Ring Magazine super middleweight champion, but this could lead to bigger and better things. But because it's for an interim title, this is now scheduled for 12. And Morrell, Joe, has fought 3 rounds total. I mean, he's gotten guys out quick, but 3 rounds, he could be fighting 12 tonight.
Well, he's not only fought 3 rounds total as a pro, but, you know, you have to remember, an amateur fight is 3 rounds. He's really never been past 3 rounds in his life.
Look at this fusillade right now. Look at Morrell go to work. Fast hands. Joe, do you think he's good or great?
Well, he's obviously a great fighter to have that record as a Cuban fighter, but he's been warned twice right now by Jerry Cantu, one for hitting on the break and one for hitting behind the head. So,
10 seconds, stop at the bell.
you know, he'll do anything he has to do to win.
Round number 1, David Morrell, Lennox Allen here in LA.
Here was the early part of the round right here. Morrell leads with a right hook to the head and then a good body shot, which landed with his left hand. Now these are going to bounce off a lot of his gloves, except right there. Nice uppercut right there.
And here you see
Morrell.
at the end of the round, Morrell throwing a nice combination, coming back with a right hook there. When Lennox is against the ropes, he's throwing some good uppercuts there. You know, he needs to settle down just a little bit. I'm sure that's what his corner is going to tell him. It's the first round.
And you see the experience of Lennox Allen as well, as he was able to weather that storm, because Morrell is very fluid. Fast hands, has some pop on his shots as well. It's only his 3rd pro fight as we get into round number 2, scheduled for 12. Brian Kenny with Joe Goosen, Lennox Lewis. I'll do my best with that. Heidi Androl is here, Marcos Villegas as well as here as our unofficial scorer.
Yeah, I like
FS1 is coming your way right after we're done here on Fox. That's coming up 10 o'clock Eastern time. Lennox, go ahead.
Yeah, I like what Lennox is doing right now. He's moving in with the double right hand jab and coming across with that left hand. It's what he needs to do. Move closer to his target before hitting him.
Allen tries to jab his way in quick with the double jab, but he is settled and balanced. Again, Morrell can hit you and knock you down with any shot. In his first fight, he had a right hook, ended after getting a straight left knockdown in the first fight. That was against Yendris Valdez. And then in his second fight, he's only fought twice as a pro. He was fighting Quentin Rankin, and he had a straight left and a left uppercut to get the knockout early in the 2nd round. Body work and then coming up to the head so far. Joe Goosen, what do you think of the repertoire being showed by Morrell so far?
Well, Morrell's got a great bag of tricks. I mean, he can throw a variety of punches. But what's happening right here, I kind of like what Allen's doing right now. He's using his muscle. He's kind of protecting himself right now. He's really not opening up all the way. I think he's going to wait to open up later on in the fight, let Morrell shoot off some steam. So he's keeping his hands up real well right now. And he said in the fighter meetings, that's what he intended to do. Now, he got hit with a good shot right there, but he intended to take Morrell into the late rounds, and let's see if he can get away with it.
Yeah, you say late rounds, and you come into this thinking, well, you know, he's not supposed to do that. But we see that theme play out quite a bit, and we'll see it again tonight as Morrell loses his footing for a moment, where a guy comes in as the opponent, but you know, that doesn't have to be the script. It can be his big night. And Allen's been fighting a long time. Good body work there by Allen.
Stop.
You see him able to get inside. He's trained by Aureliano Sosa. He's a top trainer in Brooklyn who trains Chris Colbert and Kid Chocolate Peter Quillen. So he's used to being in there with top fighters and used to being in with world-class competition, trying to put it together now in the biggest fight of his career. Final 20 seconds, round number 2. The super middleweight division.
And you see, Brian, that Morrell is now starting to be a little bit more patient with what he's doing, and that favors Allen.
Scheduled for 12, we finish up round number 2. I have to admit, I am surprised by that. Titanic, Joe and Lennox. How about that?
No comment on that.
Yeah, no comment. I think I fell asleep in it.
I like Luke Santamaria actually admitting to loving sleep. Anybody who's, we've just gone through the quarantine. And,
Right.
That's
Because I slept a lot, right?
that's something we're all familiar with,
Yeah.
but few will admit to.
What I liked was Mielnicki saying he was watching Durant tapes.
Third round underway.
One of my favorite fighters.
David Morrell and Lennox Allen. Allen in the purple trunks and Morrell in the black.
See now, Brian, Morrell's allowing Sosa now to walk at him, and now he's getting off body shots like that. He's scoring points right now. And of course, he gets answered back, but this is a good sign for Sosa right now that he's in this fight. Unless he gets clipped with something really hard, this is a nice little back and forth fight. They're both landing punches.
Again, this is what we hope for with a guy coming in 22-0-1. I know it's a cliche, but Joe, when you see 22-0-1, you're thinking that's no joke. No matter what level competition or where you are, especially if you're in Brooklyn and you're fighting fights in New York and in that area, 22-0-1, you have to have a certain level of experience and skill.
Listen, right now, you're exactly right. And Allen landed a good right uppercut, right hook as Morrell comes back and he gets a little rough. He's been warned 3 times by Jerry Cantu already, Morrell has, for different offenses. Right now though, Allen is in this fight, and their trainer told us in the fighter meetings that they want to just get through the first 3 or 4 rounds without getting clipped with something big, and that's what's happening. So they're sticking to their plan.
Morrell's in this fight as well. He's very accurate, especially when he punches to the body. And he's still in the fight. Doesn't look weary at all. And he's throwing good punches.
Yeah, as a trainer, I would be looking to take Morrell deep. Now Morrell's got Jamal James's trainers, and they're experienced guys, so they're going to make sure he doesn't shoot all of his energy off early in this fight, that he saves some for the later rounds.
See, right there, Morrell is doing some great work on the ropes. He's keeping Lennox on the ropes, not letting him escape, and he's doing some work. And he's picking his shots. He's very accurate with his shots. And this is what you have to do. You got to work a guy, try and break him down a little bit.
Big right hook there by Allen, able to trade that and put it right off the jaw of Morrell. He ate that pretty good.
Yep.
Hands free, hands free.
And I noticed that about Morrell. A couple times, he's throwing a combination and he's getting caught throwing combinations, so he's got to be worried about his defense. Once one piggy goes to market, the other piggy stays home.
Final 15 seconds of round number 3. This is the deepest that Morrell has ever been as a professional. And it's only 3 rounds, but he's only had 3 rounds so far in his professional career.
Welcome back inside Microsoft Theater. David Morrell actually defected from Cuba back in 2017. He escaped at 5 a.m. via speedboat, ended up in Mexico, where he spent 18 months to establish residency. He said he left his entire life behind, including his mother, and one of his biggest regrets was not being able to say goodbye to his older brother, Rafael. As a consequence for David defecting, unfortunately, the Cuban government put a stop to his brother's boxing career. No tournaments, anything. He says he does this for his family in hopes of a reunion here one day.
Yeah, so Lennox, just off that last 10 seconds of that round, of the last round, you saw Morrell throw a nice little uppercut, but that's when Allen came back with that counter right hook and really landed flush. So, I mean, there's a lot of give and take here right now, and the young kid is not having it just completely his way like he did the first 2 fights in his career.
Both of them are good counter punchers.
Yeah.
When one's finished throwing a combination, the other one's looking to throw a punch back. So that's very important. Don't just get hit and don't hit back.
And of course, the corner for Lennox Allen. We're in the 4th round here, and this is the round they said they wanted to make it to without getting hurt, by a big punch, and they got their wish. So they're in the 4th round right now, and they would like to drag Morrell into the late rounds here. But, Morrell's in great shape, you can tell. And again, out of that same gym as Jamal James, and he's working with established pros, and I'm sure they did a lot of sparring and made sure that he was able to go this long distance if need be.
That's what you always worried about young fighters when, how will they react going down the stretch? But Morrell, he's doing good. He's boxing at a good pace, which you need to. And he's not getting hit with no silly shots. And he's throwing some great combinations.
It's funny, you hear the murmur of the crowd, which is not there. Does that, I mean, how loud is that in the theater itself, Joe and Lennox? Does that make a difference? Does that make it seem more normal?
Well, you know, I usually tune out the crowd anyway half the time, because as a corner man and as a trainer, you've got to really concentrate on what's going on in the ring, and you basically shut everything out, and really, if you're really concentrated, you don't hear much. But this crowd is a buzz tonight, and they've really got me going.
Lennox, is it tougher without a crowd, or do you not notice because you have a guy in front of you?
Yeah, you don't notice. I mean, you know, these guys, all they listen to is their corner. So, you know, for anybody else that's in the crowd, they wouldn't hear them anyway. So,
Lennox, that leads me to a question I want to ask you.
Go on.
When you would do something exciting, like, you know, hit a guy, hurt a guy, knock a guy down, did you hear your trainer's voice?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, over
one of the trainers' voice.
Over 20,000 people, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good scrap so far here through 4 rounds. David Morrell, big star out of Cuba. PBC on Fox here, round number 5, our opening fight of the night at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. David Morrell versus Lennox Allen. And Allen is 35 years old. He is going up against David Morrell, who is figured to be the future star here. But we go in thinking that he's winning this fight. He's going to win this fight. Let's go to Marcos Villegas, who is our unofficial scorer. And Marcos, is Allen taking any rounds?
No, actually he is. I had him winning round number 3, and the last 3 rounds overall, he's done really, really well. You got to think, you know, if the judges are seeing the amount of work that he's doing, or if they're favoring Morrell, because when Morrell does land, he lands big punches, so that's something to take account. But so far, 39-38 for David Morrell.
Okay, so reasonably close at the very least. And again, a judge goes in, hopefully, that judge is not thinking that this is the made guy, this is the guy that's supposed to win. That's kind of an unconscious bias that happens to everyone, including broadcasters. And at a certain point, you start thinking, all right, is the opponent actually rising to the level where he's winning rounds and could put this in jeopardy?
See, this is the little roughing up that Lennox is going to do. This is showing the experience factor. Just rough him up a little bit, push him around.
Let me tell you.
Good comment.
Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
No, just a beautiful uppercut there by Morrell coming off the hook. I have to like the way he's doing that. And there's a scorecard that you see right there from Marcos. He's got a 39-37 so far. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say, what Allen is doing, he's just keeping his hands up real high. He's really blocking 4 out of 5 punches. Morrell will land 1 or 2 solid ones, but then there's Allen ready to counter like he just did off that uppercut, counter with his patented right hook, which is one of his go-to punches. This is going to be a big load, a little headbutt. Morrell's complaining about them banging heads, but it's going to be a big learning curve for Morrell tonight.
Lennox Allen doing good body work on the inside as well. Morrell staying busy, throwing that very tough left hand that he has. Again, he is able to starch guys with that one shot. Now he's able to be able to touch Allen on the way out. Allen, though, with a good spirit, uppercuts again, doubling up on the uppercut is Morrell.
Morrell is landing some good solid shots this round in that last exchange, ending with that good uppercut, Bri.
And Allen moves in again, trying to make the round a little more competitive. Morrell having a little more success. Again, Allen, 16 years a pro, but took 2 years off in 2016 to 2017, and now hasn't fought since February of 2019. So that's a full year off before the shutdown. Obviously, the shutdown you can't hold against people. Final 20 seconds here of round number 5, and again, kind of a pivotal round as Morrell looks to establish his dominance here against a man that is expected to be eventually the opponent, but not yet. Allen winging shots as he comes in. We will stay right here, and we're going to go into Lennox Allen's corner and listen in.
Huh? He's a bank. Bam, you hurt him down here twice.
Lennox,
The hook.
the feet are becoming a little too flat, baby. You understand?
They're becoming a little, huh? Oh, I understand that, but your feet are becoming a little too stiff. Okay. You got to give me angles. You're leaning forward a little too much. You know what I mean? Okay. So you got to give me some angles. You know, be too sharp, baby. Come on.
Okay. How was that round? Better, but you got to need a little more movement.
Yeah, more. And you got to let the hands go a little more. You understand? I told you after the double, what goes? That was close. That was close. But after the double, what goes? All right, so you're not throwing it. Okay. All right? Every time you hit the body shots, come back to the head. If you finish 2 shots on the head, come back to the body. Make it simple.
You see Mike Rodriguez, the cut man, working on that eye. Let's see if we can find where that cut comes from. This is round 3. Possibly that's after a clash of heads, possibly. I didn't see it exactly, but that's when the blood started to trickle down. That's Aureliano Sosa in the corner. Chris Colbert, who's a dynamite fighter, in the corner as well. Joe, Lennox, I'm not sure. Did you see where the cut came from?
Yeah, there was a clash of heads. I think I said it right when it happened. Morrell complained to the referee about the headbutts. And now, as far as the corner and the cut right now, you got Mike Rodriguez in Allen's corner, who's one of the best in the country right now, maybe the world for as a cut man. So he's going to keep that under control unless it gets reopened bigger somehow by another headbutt or a great punch. But it looked like he's already got the bleeding stopped, so it may not be an issue.
Lennox, again, Morrell is the prospect here. What would you like to see from him to like put it into another gear?
Well, you know, he can't really take chances right now. It's still early in the fight, but he's doing the right things. He's not getting hit by no silly shots, and he's keeping the distance, and he's scoring punches just like he's doing right now.
Yeah, look at a little distance now and able to throw those shots hard.
Right.
The only thing into the pocket.
The only thing he has to be careful is when I'm talking about Lennox right now, when he's up against the ropes, you know, he's gonna come out with a right hook because he's always favoring that punch.
And the only blemish on Lennox Allen's record is from Darnell Boone way back in 2010. And Boone is one of those guys with a spotty record, but a very rugged fighter. And that was a draw. It's the only time that he hasn't won.
Yeah, and right now, Morrell's, I think, taking the last couple rounds, and he's winning this round big right now. He used a lot of energy through a lot of punches, probably 15, 20 punches, hard punches in the corner, in his own corner, going after Lennox Allen. But Allen, you know, survived it, and he's back on track again, but it's certainly Morrell's round right now.
And both guys are counter punches, waiting for each other, but somebody has to make that first move.
Morrell now letting it fly, sinking in on his punches a little harder.
See, I think Morrell and his corner are confident in his conditioning to go 12 rounds at this point, the way he's fighting, because he's really letting his hands go. He's not trying to be conservative with his output. So
doubling up on the left hand as well. Yeah. Lennox, let me just ask you quickly, was it more mental or physical when you're going deeper as a professional?
It's definitely mental because there's a lot of different things. You know, you're getting tired, guys hitting you, and you're thirsty, and you're wondering if you're doing well, and you know, those are the things that are going through your head. But if you're comfortable and you're not getting hit and you feel good, then it's an easy fight for you. And right now, to me, Morrell is doing a great job of staying away and not getting hit.
Let's go back to round 5, Joe.
All right, well, this is where Morrell starts doing some good work there. He landed that 1-2-3, nice left uppercut. Either hand is good with his uppercuts.
Well, here you see Morrell keep on throwing that left over top, and you know, it got through once, so he kept on throwing it. Did a good job doing it.
David Morrell has outlanded Lennox Allen in every round, mostly with power shots. He looks relaxed and smiling. You got to like that. Is just as we were saying, Lennox, the mental part of the game. He seems very composed, don't you think?
Like I said, you know, he's feeling good about himself. He didn't get hit with no heavy shots, and he's doing what he wants to do in there.
Now
go ahead, Joe.
Real quick, Jerry Cantu brought them out to the middle of the ring and gave them another warning, because at the end of the last round they butted heads again. Morrell complained, and so Jerry Cantu brought him to the center to let them both know that they've got to watch the heads.
Morrell sharpshooting now in the black trunks against Lennox Allen with the purple trunks and the fringe, and also Too Sharp on the waistband. Should mention that. Goes by Too Sharp, like Mark Too Sharp Johnson, great champion from, I don't know, about 10, 15 years ago.
Great call. Great call.
That's the only Too Sharp I knew, Joe. Right. You go back longer than I do.
Yeah, Too Sharp Jack Johnson back in my day. But yeah, listen, Allen just had a nice little flurry here at the beginning of the round, and Morrell kind of sat back, let him shoot off some steam. I don't know if Morrell really respects Allen's power too much, because he's really being much more offensive minded than he was earlier.
Well, there's a lot of time. You know, you'll have trainers tell you all the time as you get more experienced. I know Buddy McGirt has made a big statement about that. Anytime I've been in meetings with him, spoken with him, he said, look, you got 12 rounds. You got a long, long time in there. And to your point, I know you guys were talking about this fight going rounds. And even Lennox, when you mentioned earlier that, you know, we're going to go deep into rounds, I thought, really? And now you see, we're only in the 7th round. There's a lot of action and a lot of energy that has to be put out. Plenty of time for Morrell to establish himself.
Push your head down. Push your head down.
Absolutely, and if Lennox wants to do a lot better in this fight, he's got to throw punches. Earlier, he was throwing some great body punches. Doesn't matter if Morrell was catching him on his elbow, he's still accepting the punches. So, you know, Lennox is still scoring points, so he needs to really punch a little bit more.
Morrell coming over the top with that left hand. He's able to go straight out with the left or over the top, kind of an overhand left. Again, a good repertoire, very versatile fighter, constantly firing out shots. The output, it seems, from Allen is diminished somewhat here in round 7.
Yeah, he slowed down a lot. He should be throwing that right hook and that left hand straight across, and then coming back with that double right hand. I don't know why he moved away from it, because that was good in the earlier rounds.
Yeah, right now, Morrell is really setting the pace. He's kind of doing what he wants. He's turning Allen a lot. Allen's throwing punches. He's missing everything, just like that. He's getting away from everything. But if you noticed earlier in the round, when the round first started, Allen came in with his head. Morrell actually turned around and walked away. So he's been headbutted quite a few times in this fight. Good left hand and right hook.
Good combination there by Allen in the final seconds. But David Morrell, again, the tremendous amateur out of Cuba, only 22 years of age, putting on a show here, although he is being tested in Los Angeles tonight. Here at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, Brian Kenny with Joe Goosen, Lennox Lewis, Heidi Androl, Marcos Villegas, our unofficial scorer, and we're seeing a nice display by David Morrell, 22 years of age, only 2-0 as a pro, looking for an interim belt, not a world championship belt, but looking to grab some hardware right here, and only his 3rd professional fight. He's in the black trunks. Lennox Allen, undefeated, 35 years of age, out of Brooklyn, is in the purple.
Yeah, and it looks to me like Morrell's starting to pull away in this fight now. He's starting to do what he wants. He's moving much better. He's more fluid. His defense is really working for him right now. When he wants to escape, he's going out back door very easily. He's kind of controlling the fight now, and it's pretty amazing for a guy that's only had 2 fights, is doing this well in a 12-round fight. He knows he's got a 12-round fight. We're in round, what are we in right now? Round 8. Yeah, so, I mean, pretty amazing conditioning.
Ooh, good shot right there. I believe Allen was stunned for a moment. Morrell winking in our general direction, able to get up on his toes and flick out some shots. Again, relaxed, composed, but he is 22. Joe, that's the thing, is that, you know, it's not a lot of, we've seen a lot of top amateurs, 300, 400 fights, especially out of Eastern Europe, turn pro, but they're already like 28, 29, 30. Morrell's 22.
That's a great point. And that's one of the reasons why this kid's going to have a very bright future. He's still young enough to learn this pro game. And let me tell you something, for 22 years old, his 3rd fight, this guy looks like he's been fighting pro for a long time.
Joe, Lennox, you think that he's starting to win these rounds going away. Let's get Marcos Villegas' call right here. Marcos, what do you think?
Yeah, he's definitely pulling away at this point. I have him winning the last 4 rounds. I think just overall, if you take a look at the fight as a whole, he's landed the better punches and the more damaging punches. And the judges really love that when a fighter throws a punch and they can clearly see that it's doing damage. And overall, David Morrell has been doing that in this fight.
Marcos, thank you very much. 69-64, just to give us an idea of what the judges could be looking at and how might they have it scored so far. Morrell with the combination, moving in, throwing shots. Allen moving his head nicely, getting out of danger for the most part.
He is, but Morrell's really starting to zero in on him now, and he's getting more and more accurate as the rounds go by. And again, I think we're all in agreement that Morrell's pulling away in this fight against a very qualified, very slick, experienced fighter.
Good body shots there by Allen to answer after he got tagged with a left hand. Uppercuts and hooks from David Morrell. Here as we get down to the final 10 seconds of round number 8, just a good display. They wanted to test the kid, and he is getting a test here tonight. Back in Los Angeles, David Morrell here, up on his toes, flicking out the jab and winking. Lennox, I don't remember you winking when you were fighting David Tua.
No, I didn't bother winking. I could have though, but you know, when you wink, that shows that you're confident, you feel good, and you're having fun.
Well, he does. He's aware of the space, his timing. He's comfortable. He's got a very good amateur pedigree, obviously. 135-2. One of those losses to his fellow Cuban Olympic gold medalist Julio Cesar La Cruz. So again, and I mentioned, and I was incredulous, Joe, I'm glad you picked up on that as we get into round 9. 135-2. You hear that record as an amateur when you're fighting top flight competition. It's really staggering.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to do. And the other thing was when he lost to the gold medal winner, I think he was 17 years old. So it wasn't like he was, you know, a mature guy. He was just a high school kid. So there's no shame in that. And even then, that's really one of the few losses he has, one of the 2.
Lennox Allen now in the purple trunks. Again, he's up on his toes trying to get a little more energy here and make a good go of it. Again, he's put up a good professional effort. Maybe took a few rounds early on, a little more difficult now in the later rounds. He has gone 10 rounds once. He's gone 12 once as well. Morrell feeling it, dancing. Whoa.
Yeah, I think Allen's going to look back on this fight, Brian, and he's going to say, why didn't I do more? And if I was his corner, and in all fairness, they were encouraging him to do more. And I think they're probably going to be disappointed in the fact that his output is so low right now. He's just not doing enough.
Yeah, good hard shot there by Allen, but single digits in his lands over each of the last 5 rounds. Now he's starting to trade, though, and letting it fly. Look, there's a talent gap, there's an age gap. There's only so much Lennox Allen can do, and he seems to be doing quite a bit. Now Morrell puts those hands back up.
Well,
he's in a bit of a scrap.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got to do what's working for him. And what was working for him is that double right jab, getting Morrell against the ropes so he could throw his combinations to the body and come upstairs. But right now, he's just really looking to counterpunch and sometimes not punch at all.
There's still a long way to go. Again, we're in round 9, scheduled for 12. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to say Lennox just called it. That's the counter punch he's always looking for, is that right hook.
Nice combination there by Morrell, letting it fly with the uppercuts and hooks. Is very fluid. Good power shots, starting off with the jab. Uppercuts again, and a left hook punctuates the combination. Able to step out of danger, make a miss. Really effective with that uppercut.
2 nice uppercuts by Morrell. He threw the lead left, and then he threw a nice right uppercut. Very accurate with both of those. And he's starting to slow Allen down this round.
And you know what Morrell is doing as well? He's not putting every power into every shot. He's like giving you 3 light ones and then coming with a hard one.
Changing the pace a little bit, and a good combination there as well, as he threw kind of a slower jab and then a hard left hand straight up the middle. But one uppercut after another from David Morrell. Slew of them in this round. We're going to go to Morrell's corner and we'll listen in here. Marcos Villegas we'll have the translation. Let's listen in.
Okay? And you pulling up with the head up high, what you getting hit, can't throw it in the head.
This is you.
Can't throw it on the head.
This is you.
The rag's over
But I don't want too much.
Listen, you gotta keep
your
it.
stuff
That was
closed.
a decent amount.
He's trying to find you. He's breaking. You hear me?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, don't worry, I'll always spread it.
he's breaking.
Just, it's got to go on and then I'll spread it.
Hey, he's breaking.
I got it off your eye. Te lo quité.
Rompió. I need you to hit him and hit.
Rompió. Yeah, I got it.
He's like that. Okay?
Al aire, jale aire.
You got this. You want to be a champion?
Yes,
This
sir.
is what we got to do it right now. You hear me?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yes, sir.
Put some hands up and let's work. All right? This is you, baby.
Yeah, man.
All right? Second down.
All right, we don't need much translation there. Sankara Frazier, who is also the lead trainer for Jamal James, who's in our main event as Morrell is training in Minnesota. What did you think of that, Joe, Lennox?
Well, I thought his trainer told him the right things. He needs to. He's doing the right things, and you know, this is his fight that he's gone the distance in. He's going to be going the distance unless something happens in the next couple of rounds. But he's doing the right things.
Allen is sturdy, you can see, and at any point that he starts to go on the wane, he then can go on the attack, as he is right here, able to press forward here in round 10. Deep waters for both fighters. Morrell now throws his own body attack.
Yeah, he got the orders to go out there and start putting some hurt on Allen. They feel Allen is slowed down to the point and dropping his hands now where he's going to be more vulnerable to the youth and speed of Morrell. And I think that's playing out exactly to be true.
Well, Joe, let me ask you, and I like that. I asked Lennox earlier, what would you like to see from Morrell? And basically, Lennox said, I like what I'm seeing now. That could be the answer, too. What would you like to see, Joe, from David Morrell to see him just get that next step up?
I'll tell you what, being in with a very competent, capable guy like Allen is a good thing. You probably want it, oh, nice right hook. You probably want it to go as far as you can. You'd like to see Morrell, if you're in the corner, knock him out like with about a minute left in the 12th round, because you'd like to have those rounds in the books. Each round is very valuable to have as an experience factor in your back pocket.
And Morrell is able to snap Allen's head around a little bit in this round, and we haven't seen that up until this 10th round. Just able to throw one extra shot at Allen when he's not ready, and able to clean up now. Cleaner shots coming through from Morrell. Allen with a lot of professional pride. Morrell has an awful lot to trade, though. Throwing those shots and has him now in the corner, and looks to hurt Allen a little more.
Oh, he's going for the knockout right now, for sure. But in all fairness, Allen at least tried to come back with a good few hard shots himself, but he's just being overwhelmed by the speed, youth, and the power of Morrell.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's 3 or 4 jabs from Morrell as he looks to pick it up. So again, just the total package. Doesn't look like an amateur here. Again, decorated amateur, 22 years old, and looking to make a step up here against an experienced professional.
And you know, another thing, Brian, that I like about Morrell, he picked up on that right counter hook. He's really getting his hands back now. When he throws body shots, he knows that counter hook is coming, or a counter left hand, and he's getting his hands back good and not getting clipped by it like he did earlier in the fight.
Allen pinned up against the ropes now and taking some clean shots to the head. Stumbles forward and separated. Final 10 seconds of round 10. You know, Morrell, so impressive in that he is fluid, fast, and can hurt you with either hand. He throws a lot of uppercuts, hooks, jabs, straight lefts. Watch that with the left, uppercuts. David Morrell taking over in our opening fight. Back here at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, the PBC bubble. We'll be here a few times over the next month, and we look forward to bringing this back your way and have live boxing on Fox.
Oh, here you see a nice left by Morrell coming over the top, just at the end of the last round.
He gave Allen a good forearm, pushed him off of him before he hit him with that left hand. Smart move.
You see the overall punches landed there in the left corner of your screen, according to CopyBox, 168 to 72. So it is mostly all David Morrell here, although again, Lennox Allen has put up, a pretty good scrap, trying to fight as hard as he can to the best of his ability.
It's a nice tricky little counter punch by Allen right there.
Yeah, Allen went for the gusto right
he
there.
did. Yeah.
He was waiting. I think that those were a couple rounds waiting for that punch.
And that's exactly why Morrell's corner said, "Be smart. Don't do anything stupid." Because when you get overconfident, you can't get clipped by an old veterano like Allen.
Yeah.
That was almost a Jersey Joe. Let me go way back up for you, Joe. Right, Jersey Joe Walcott would walk away and have you walk into a shot. You're right. That was a vicious shot that he was waiting for.
Right. It was a smart little move.
That was a couple rounds in the making.
But can you imagine how good Morrell's going to be in his 4th fight? That's a joke, Brian.
Well, again, we've gotten used to, like, with guys like Vasily Lomachenko come up, 9 pro fights. When a lot of these fighters come over, especially from Eastern Europe, where they've got, again, literally not even 100 amateur fights, 300, 400. It's a very different game now. But again, as I pointed out, Morrell, 22, and eventually step up to some of these excellent super middleweights that we've had a good look at over the last few months.
And you could go back to even Jeff Fennick back in the 80s and Fernando Vargas, who won it in his 15th, Fennick in, I think, his 11th. These guys have that experience. And boy, I'll tell you, Morrell is really, for a guy that only had 2 pro fights, this is an exceptional performance.
Oh, he's boxing like a pro. So he's boxing like a seasoned pro right now, because he's doing a lot of things that a pro does.
Yep.
When he gets in there tight, he's moving his head from one side to the other side, not leaving it in the middle so he gets caught.
Allen with some strafing shots there at the belt line. Morrell, though, comes back in. And also, to Morrell's credit, you guys love how sharp he looks right now. But again, he last fought November 2019. I'm sure he was expecting to get a fight in the spring. Obviously, with the quarantine and the shutdown because of the virus, he didn't get that. So, he's had an extended period off here that I'm sure he did not want.
No, but again, sometimes, things happen for a reason, and he had an extended time maybe to work on more subtle things and perfect his pro style and perfect his style coming in against Allen. So it may have worked to his advantage.
He wanted to be more relaxed in this fight, and it has certainly worked. He has faced a bit of adversity in facing Allen, but David Morrell with a beautiful performance so far here tonight.
I know you in shape.
What did I say, 11?
I know you in
I knew
shape.
it was early.
Just be safe. Okay? Give him a little bit of water. Thank you. A little bit of water. A little bit of water. Come on, baby. I know you ready. I know you in shape. Okay. Stay sharp. Keep hands up. Don't let him throw nothing wild. Nothing wild. Right. Got me.
Yeah, this is the 12th round. He's going to let it all hang out. Morrell's going to let it all hang out. I'm sure his corner told him that, because he looks good. He's moving good.
Yeah,
doesn't seem like he's tired, so I think we should get some little fireworks in this last round.
Now, normally, if you're up this far ahead and I'm in the corner, I'm going to go, look, you've got this fight won. Don't do anything stupid. Go ahead and box this guy good. Land your punches, but don't try to get into a brawl. He's desperate. Allen is desperate right now. Don't give him that opportunity.
And as we've seen, Joe, Lennox Allen is capable. What? You got to let him back down. Lennox Allen is breaking the action there. Capable of loading up one big shot. So you don't want to run into anything here.
No, you don't. But I think Morrell has taken his best shots early when Allen was strong and brushed it off. So it's doubtful he's going to have the power to hurt him, even if he does land a shot here in the 12th round.
Right, and most of his punches now are coming looping. So what's his name Morrell can actually see them coming and take advantage of them.
Allen digs in there, misses wild with a left hand. Morrell also missing. Allen able to move his head. I mentioned this is at 168 pounds, and Morrell made weight easily. He looks very comfortable at this weight. We had Caleb Plant in Nashville early this year. Before the shutdown, he looked like he stepped up to another level. We mentioned Callum Smith is the Ring Magazine champ at 168. There's David Benavides and Morrell. Joe, what do you think? Not so far away, huh?
No, look, Morrell is really impressed me tonight. I had to see a few rounds before I gave you a real observation, because this is the first legit guy he's fought, and not only the first legit guy, but for 12 rounds. And he's throwing as hard in the 12th round as he was in the first round. That's a credit to his gym, his coaches, and his conditioning. Excellent fight for him.
And a good job by Jerry Cantu. The referee said, hey, fight out of that. There's no reason for me to get involved. And Morrell keeping Allen on the ropes and able to land a left hand, and again.
And you're right about Jerry Cantu, Brian, one of the more experienced veteran referees from California. He'll let you fight, and he's proved that tonight. He doesn't.
Nice body shots. Yeah, nice body shots by Allen. Morrell lands, and Allen lands there, flush to the face, and another right hook on Morrell.
Right.
That wasn't a tap. He hit him pretty hard.
Well, you're on the edge of your seat, and you're in either corner right now, even Morrell's, because those were some brutal shots coming back.
Morrell says now he wants to bring it. Final 30 seconds. Let's listen in.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
Now they take a breath, of course. They look like they wanted to get after it, didn't they?
10 seconds.
Now Allen does.
10 seconds.
Final seconds, final shot.
Stop. Time. No.
Decent action there to close the show.
All right.
Mutual respect.
Keep an eye on these guys, okay? Let's get pissed off. Go in? Yeah.
I think they're good, Jerry. They've gone 12 rounds. They're good. They're done. But a good scrap, all in all. Hate to keep going back to that, but we thought it would be a decent fight and a decent test for a young fighter that could be a top star. David Morrell opening the show, and you see how fluid he is. He is sharp with both hands, not devastating power, but a very good boxer, quick on his feet. A little showboating, he felt comfortable. Lennox Allen gave him a pretty good test, hit him with a lot of good body shots. But David Morrell making his bid to step up in class. And here is the top of the division, the big three belt holders. Again, right there in the middle, Callum Smith is the Ring Magazine champion. He has the WBA belt. David Benavides, the WBC. And Caleb Plant, who looked outstanding in his last fight, has the IBF belt. And again, we've discussed this before with Joe and Lennox. You could make a case for either guy. Callum Smith kind of considered the class of the division, but we do not know, and we also not sure of when David Morrell will be able to crash that party. We're about to get the decision. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action here at the Microsoft Theater, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Steve Morrow scores about 118 to 110. Rudy Barragan sees it 119 to 109. And Judge Dr. Lou Moret scores about 120 to 108. All three in favor of the winner. He is still undefeated. He is now the interim WBA super middleweight world champion, David Morrell Jr.